Good afternoon. I am Shiva Parker from Imecom. This is Philip Chapizzi. We've traveled actually from the U.S. We're part of a larger group located in Madrid and Paris. And we've primarily focused our efforts on communication technology centering on, originally it was network fax, where we've moved into IP telephony. And Philip, it's actually funny, Philip and I, we switched the PBX system that we use within our company years ago. It was a very old AT&T based system, and he implemented an Asterisk PBX system. And a lot of possibilities came into view, and one of the things that we were looking for was a CTI application that we could install on the end user workstations that would provide operator panel functionality that would allow us to make and manage calls using our PCs, more or less speed up the time that it would take the employees to make phone calls and manage their phone calls. So we looked at a number of CTI applications and we were not impressed with any of them, really. There was one that we liked. The vendor since has removed that from the market, so we sort of looked at each other and said, why don't we just write one ourselves? We certainly can do it. We have the staff to do it. We know what we want, so that's what we did. And we created a product called Flowvox. Originally, we were just going to write it for our company, and as it evolved, we started to recognize there might be a need for this in the Asterisk community. So we said, well, let's take a chance, let's do it. So we came up with the product Flowvox. It originally was an operator panel, but then we said, we don't want to just limit ourselves to being an operator panel, we want to make it a CTI application. So we did, and what it basically does is runs on a user's PC, a desktop PC or notebook PC, and allows them to essentially make calls, control calls, manage calls right from their PC without actually having to use their phone, or use their hands, rather. We built the application so that inherently all throughout the app there's drag and drop functionality. You should be able to complete any task that the application offers mainly through drag and drop or through some sort of mouse function. So some of the main things that Flowvox does is, of course, you can make outbound calls. You can transfer incoming calls to other Asterisk extensions, other Flowvox users. You can park calls. You can retrieve park calls. You can conference calls together. There's a visual voicemail component that allows you to not only see the voicemail that you have, you can play the voicemail messages either through the Flowvox UI, or you can send the voicemail to your desk phone handset, or through your SIP soft phone and play the message back. You can view and monitor unlimited number of ACD queues that exist on the Asterisk system, and of course you can IM chat with other Flowvox users. Here's a more extensive list of features. Much of the typical things that you would find with calling exists within Flowvox. Again, there's transferring, parking, conferencing. There's an interactive call log that shows you all the call activity that you have, and you can, from this log, if you've missed a call, you can redial that person and initiate a new call right from the log. If you have placed an outbound call and the remote party did not answer, you can just simply redial them from the log. Again, we talked about visual voicemail and IM chat, ACD queues. One of the most requested features that we got, and I'll get into this in a minute, is the ability to group contacts. So within the Flowvox UI is a contact tab or subpanel that's docked within the main user interface window. And it displays both contacts and Asterisk extensions. People wanted the ability to create groups and then organize contacts within these subgroups. So that's something that we implemented. User present status, somebody's busy, they can set their present status to busy, they can make themselves available, they can be on an extended absence, they can implement or add a custom away greeting, typical presence functions. When a user's on a call, there is an interactive call status or section. It displays the party that they're talking to, which of the lines associated with their phone that is in use, They can see the number, the remote party identification. They can perform some functions on the call, terminate the call, transfer the call, park the call, the duration of the call, and so on and so forth. Within the UI, you can, while there is drag and drop functionality, you can also initiate actions through a single click. So you can start a call by a single click mouse action. You can also start an instant message chat. There's some filtering that we can talk about. The whole Flowvox UI is customizable, so users do not necessarily have to see everything. They can simply open up the windows that they want. They can expand the windows, they can shrink the windows, they can dock or undock windows. It's entirely up to them. There's a visual dial pad if users are used to dialing with their mouse. They can continue doing that. They can use the keyboard to dial. They can, again, do drag and drop. And very shortly, there will be click-to-call added as well. User avatars, if you want a picture, you can add your own photo. And Flowvox itself is compatible with Microsoft Windows, Linux, and Mac operating systems. It can connect to virtually any desk phone or SIP soft phone that you wish. Currently, we support 3 languages, English, Spanish, and French. And for ITSPs that are looking to incorporate an operator panel or CTI within their systems, we offer white label support. So let's take a look at the architecture. A typical deployment of Flowvox consists of a server component and clients. The Flowvox server itself typically will be installed on the Asterisk server. It doesn't have to be. You can install and run it on a separate server and connect that server to the Asterisk server. In either case, Flowvox connects using the AMI. Flowvox server currently runs on Microsoft Windows or Linux. We have tested it with Mac. There's not really a call to run it on a Mac OS, so it's not a big effort for us. If you choose to install it on a Windows server, you have the option to run Flowvox as a service. The client itself can be installed on desktop or laptop PCs currently. It supports Windows, Linux, and Mac operating systems. And again, you can use your pick of desk phones or SIP soft phone brands. So the user interface is something that we focused a fair bit of effort in. One of the things that we did not like about other operator panels that exist is they tended to take up a lot of screen real estate or screen space. A lot of them are encapsulated in a web browser. While the underlying architecture exists within Flowvox to do that, we elected to create a sleeker, slimmer interface that allowed users to select or choose what they wanted to see. So some of the benefits that we view are that it does consume less screen space, doesn't require a browser to run, and it gives users easy access to opening and closing the windows, docking and undocking some of the windows that they wish to have or don't wish to have. On the main Flowvox user interface is a contacts sub-window. It's docked automatically. This is sort of the main area of use for users. We have 2 tabs here. One of them is a contacts tab and the other is an extensions tab. The contacts tab basically displays a list of all Flowvox users that exist on the server. Within this, you can create, or the Flowvox administrator can create subgroups and then organize Flowvox users into these subgroups, departments, for example. It's an interactive section, so to the left of each Flowvox username, you have a colored circle or an orb. This indicates the user's presence. Each user, when they log into Flowvox, by default is shown as available, and then they can set their custom status, present status as they wish. To the right, or actually when you mouse over a user, you'll see a phone icon and a chat icon, and these are the single-click action items. So if you click the phone icon, that'll immediately initiate a call with that Flowvox user. Likewise, if you click the chat icon, it'll start an IM chat with that user. If a user is on the phone, a green phone icon will illuminate to the right of their name, and that will indicate this person is busy. I'm not going to call them at this point. I'll wait till they're off the phone. And again, like any sub-window, these are dockable and undockable as you need. This is the other tab, the extensions tab. This displays all of the extensions that exist on the Asterisk server. Extensions are displayed by default in these tile or blocks, and they're color-coded to indicate the status of the extension. Again, everything is drag and drop enabled. If you wish, you or the Flowvox administrator can actually hide extensions from view, so you can do individual extensions or you can do a range of extensions if for some reason you didn't want to show certain extensions. Specifically for operators, there is a filter, so if a call comes in and you have 100 extensions, the operator needs to quickly identify if the extension to which this call should be transferred is busy. The operator can simply type in the extension or the user's name, and Flowvox will rather rapidly filter out the extensions that do not match. And that way the operator can quickly see, okay, this extension's in use, I can't transfer the call. If you did not like the block view, there's other views, there's a list view. You can change the color indications as well. All right, some of the other main aspects of the user interface. There's 4 buttons on the main UI. One of them is the My Phones button, and this will display a list of all the lines that are associated with your Flowvox user account. We have a voicemail tab, which will display all the voicemail messages you've received. From here, again, you can download the voicemail to your PC. You can send it to your phone, so you can listen to it via your headset, or you can have Flowvox play it through your PC speakers. And then the third tab is the interactive call log. The second one down is park calls. This is quite simply a list of active and inactive park slots. If a call is in the active park slot, you'll see it illuminated with a green icon. You'll see which slot number it's in, the inbound or the remote, essentially the caller ID of the party that's calling you, and the duration the call is in the park slot. And the third one down is very similar to park slots. It's the conference room, so it'll show you a list of all the active conference rooms on the Asterisk server, which ones are in use, the duration of the call, and how many participants are in the conference rooms. As far as compatibility, covered this earlier, Flowvox is compatible with Windows, Linux, and Mac. The server itself, again, runs on Windows and Linux. The clients are Windows, Linux, and Mac. We prefer Flowvox to run on the Asterisk server, but it doesn't have to. You can certainly run it on another server. Currently, Flowvox has been extensively tested with Asterisk 1.8 and newer, as well as Elastix 2.4. When we return, we'll start testing with 3. And if you wish to run it as a service, you may. And that's about it. Visit our website. There's free trials. We will be around tomorrow. Philip's arranged for a live working demonstration of the product if you wish to see it. And happy to take your questions.
Okay, so the questions.
Hi. I've seen that okay, you can install a server as a standalone server or inside.
I'm sorry, I was listening in Spanish.
I've seen that you can install the server as a standalone server or inside an Asterisk or Elastic server. My question is, how do you manage? I mean, how do you manage the users and user preferences? Are those the Elastix users or the CTI users? I mean, who owns the users and credentials?
Currently, that's a database within Flowvox. Once you install the server, you connect with the administrator via a client, and all the administration is done from the client. And that's only if they have the administrator role, which you can set other clients to have that role too if you wish. Currently, we're working with free PBX to integrate into their web admin portal, and Elastix is going to be the next one that we're going to integrate into the web portal with.
That's great, because
facilitate the user.
Because that was my question actually. Because it looks like when you create the user in your own server, that this is like a standalone application which uses Elastix for calling, but it doesn't enhance Elastix. I mean, it's not like an add-on of Elastix, but something that uses Elastix or Asterisk as an add-on. In case you integrate this with the Elastix admin panel and Elastix users, that would be, in my opinion, become an Elastic's add-on.
Yes.
Yes. And that is on the development schedule before the end of the year. We're looking to integrate that piece into the web portal. So when you add an extension or a user into Elastix, it will also add it into the Flowvox system.
That's great. Thank you.
Hi. First, full disclosure, I've seen a demo from your colleagues back in VoIP today. So I've seen more than this 10 minutes. And my question is, so basically, Flowvox using the server enhances or provides some extra functionality to Asterisk, because if I recall correctly, or correct me if I'm wrong, but chat, presence are something managed by Flowvox right now. Is that correct?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
yes,
It is.
the presence
That doesn't
is
run
within
through
Flowvox.
Asterisk. It's something within Flowvox. Okay.
Yes.
So given that there are SIP clients out there or other protocol clients, XMPP, that can do chat, they can do presence, they can do file sharing, and you reinvent that in a proprietary protocol, why or how would you convince people to go for this customized solution that locks them in this Flowvox only solution that they cannot replace if you disappear from the planet tomorrow?
It's a good question. What we're aiming to do is provide one application that does everything. So there are 1 million SIP soft phones or SIP clients out there. Not very many of them are an operator panel. There are a handful of operator panels out there, and not many of them do what Flowvox does. So what we're trying to do is converge everything together. We have ideas. There's things that we wish to add and to make it evolve. Flowvox. I think it's really hit the market, or it's really become popular in the last six, 7 months, and we're collecting quite a bit of good feedback from what the community wishes or wants, and that's really helpful for us to tweak the roadmap and figure out how to prioritize what we want to add to the product.
Hello. Very quick question. Flowvox, there is a way to Flowvox server connect with a domain controller server by LDAP protocol to import, I don't know, a list of contact and feed the CTI client software. Is there a way, easy way to?
So connecting to something like Active Directory or some other LDAP directory server?
Yeah.
Currently, we have been working on some Active Directory integration to import the users. It's a little bit of a manual process right now. There is some back-end functionality, but it hasn't officially been released. It's something that needs to be tied up, but it is definitely something that's on the development schedule to be worked on.
I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the underlying architecture to perform a standard LDAP import of users and groups exists. So a majority of the work is done. It's more of finalizing it and maybe tweaking it a little bit so that it's a bit sleeker. But I believe
making it easier to use for the administrators to implement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Fuerte aplauso, un fuerte aplauso.